Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Pikachus, rats, and monkeys, you heard the woman. We're going to take it home with a round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really. We live to enlighten and educate. And we're going to pick at you, too, just a little bit. Well, actually, we're going to pick at each other. But with that being said, I'll go first. My first pepper point goes out to the University of Tennessee Lady Volunteers because in this day in history, back in 1997, the Volunteers defeated Old Dominion University 68-59 to win the women's national championship of that year. At the time, it was Tennessee's 5th national championship. I'm gonna throw some names at you, fellas, that you might be familiar with. On the Tennessee team, it included Shamiqua Holesclaw. All right.
Heard of her?
Yes. Tamika Catchings.
Oh, yeah.
Kelly Jolly, who is also the current head coach of the Lady Volunteers, and they were coached by Pat Summitt. May she rest in peace. On the Old Dominion side of things, there was a player by the name of Tisha Pinachero. I don't know if you remember her. She played for the Sacramento Monarchs in the WNBA, and she was pretty good. So, this day in history, Tennessee wins their 5th national title. Over to you, Scotty D.
All right. So Billy Horschel won the match play championship over Scotty Scheffler this past week in the PGA. I didn't watch it. I was watching the basketball tournament. I did not watch the golf tournament. Congratulations to Billy Horschel. Next week is the Valero Texas Open, the final stop before a tradition unlike any other, the Masters on CBS. Coming up, Dustin Johnson, defending champion, 2 weeks. The Masters begins on April 8th. Can't wait for that one. Be live. Over to you.
Yes, sir. CCU, Teal Nation stand up. Dustin Johnson, hope he repeats. But now, Scotty, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know this real quick. I told you earlier that you're gonna pay for you just being you. So let me go ahead. Let's go ahead and get into it. My first pepper point. Well, how the tides have turned when it comes to the Los Angeles Lakers. They've been struggling a little bit. I believe they're on a 2-game win streak right now. So they're doing all right without LeBron James and Anthony
Andre
Davis.
Drummond.
Yeah, but whatever. We'll get back to him in just a second. But this past Thursday, that the Lakers allowed 2 of their former players to come back into the Staples Center, grab their championship rings, and then proceed to beat up on the LeBron-less Lakers. And those 2 are the likes of Dwight Howard and Danny Green. And Danny Green lit him up for 28 points, just product of the University of North Carolina. He didn't do much to win that title anyway.
No, that'll be the last 28 he'll have this year, probably.
His best 28.
By far the streakiest player in basketball history. But there was another thing that just came to mind though, was the fact that Dwight Howard was ejected for technical fouls, a little toss up between him and Montrezl Harrell, and his own coach proceeded to call him a clown for his antics. You already have 1 technical foul. Why are you still tussling with somebody else? You got to do better. Dwight Howard, do better. Lakers,
see you in the finals.
Better. Yeah, that. Okay, I still go with the Clippers just because I'm hating Eddie Cool, the ball.
Yeah, the Lakers are currently in 4th place in the Western Conference. But once Goat James and Baby Goat AD get back, and they got Andre Drummond, it's going to be an interesting thing to see with about a handful of games left before we start to play in. But that's neither here nor there. Now, this second pepper point, it's a good one. Kids, I'm gonna tell you something. When you got a hot mic, don't be stupid. All right, just don't say anything just to get you in trouble or potentially get you fired. Just like NHL referee Tim Peel did. He got fired because he was saying some stuff that that could mess up the integrity of the game, and the NHL said, look, man, we can't have you doing what you're doing, so you got to get your ass up out of here. I'm going to tell you what he did. All right, so last Wednesday night, we had the Nashville Predators versus the Detroit Red Wings. Shortly after, Nashville forward Victor Arvidsson was whistled for a tripping penalty on Detroit defenseman John Merrill. A ringside TV microphone picked up an official saying, it wasn't much, but I wanted to get a effing penalty against Nashville early. So you betting on games, Tim Peel? Are you being biased, Tim Peel? Were you supposed to be unbiased? Matter of fact, let me switch to camera view because I want everybody to see the reaction of my sports bros. Like Tim Peel. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you know, we live in a society, there's always a hot mic. So therefore, you must be careful of what you say and what you do. I'm not saying be scared. I'm not saying being a punk or be quiet everything. But if you know good and damn well that there's a possibility that there might be a live mic, as you can see, yep, you got to cover it up. Yep, see, you got to cover it up. See, Tim Peel, I'm thinking I don't know where you come from or your upbringing, somehow, some way, the art of being slick, slipped, because apparently you were slick enough to cover up the mic. He got fired, and I think Scotty D, from what you told me earlier, he was going to retire in April anyway.
Yeah, he was at the end of his career, I guess.
I guess he said, the hell with it. What are they going to do to me? Fire me. I'm already fired. I guess he channeled his Rick.
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm done. You can have this. This sucks. Ain't no people in the crowd. Just don't mess with my pension. But Tim Peel, penalty box, hashtag do better. Over to you, Be Live.
I'll let Scotty D step in real quick.
We're going to let Scotty step in? Okay,
yeah,
Scotty.
step in.
Over to you, Scotty D. I'm sorry. Over to you, Scotty D.
Okay, now that you mentioned the NHL, I'm going to stick on that topic. And I have something going on right now as we are recording at this moment that's very troubling to me. Well, actually, Houston, 3-point lead, 2.5 to go against Oregon State. But back to the NHL. The Buffalo Sabres have lost 17 NHL games in a row, 2 of those being in overtime. They recently traded Eric Stahl to the Habs. He had 0 goals in his last 23 games. Things have been not going too well for the Sabres. The record for the longest streak in hockey history, 18 games, one away. You are 18 games, and that was in 2003 and 4. The Pittsburgh Penguins. And as I'm speaking, the Sabres hold a 3-1 lead in the third period over the Philadelphia Flyers. Come on, Buffalo, you can do it. You can do it. 2 more. You're 2 away from making history. Come on, Sabres. Come on, Flyers. Let's go. Be Live, over to you.
Oh, my goodness.
58-56.
The Penguins lost 18 games in a row?
They did in 2003 and 2004. They did.
Oh, they were bad back then. They were bad.
Well,
pre-Crosby.
So, because I figured on my pepper points today, I'm going to feature the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, this date in NBA history, not really, it's actually just, but this is how the story led off, and this is what I looked up.
Gimmick infringement. No, but go ahead. Go ahead. I'm joking.
But everybody's now talking about the New Jersey Nets, the Brooklyn Nets, I'm sorry. And all these players that were all-stars, and now they all come together to try to win a championship and everything. All these all-stars and all this crazy stuff. And one thing that came to mind was when back in the day, when Chris Paul was about to be traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. And then at the time, Commissioner David Stern vetoed the trade.
Not today.
But it is now noted. It is noted. I did a little research. I don't understand why this never even made any headway. But the commissioner actually did not veto the trade.
Who did it?
At the time, the New Orleans Pelicans were majority owned by the NBA.
Oh,
So David Stern was acting as the general manager of the team and did not want to make the trade.
that is right.
So they couldn't pull it together, put that super team of Kobe and Chris Paul, but now the Brooklyn Nets have just every former All-Star known to man. What is going on in the world today? Oh, and I would like to mention with the Nets that as soon as they get Blake Griffin, he finds his hops again and and gets an alley-oop, which is just miraculously. Dude ain't dunked in forever.
He jumped over a car as soon as he gets it down.
Yep.
With that being said, Eddie Cool, the ball.
You know what? I do remember that when the Pelicans were owned, it all makes sense. But David Stern still had a hand in him not going there. So yeah, he's still guilty by association. All right, here we go. Third and final pepper point. Happy birthday to you, to Richard Sherman, LOB. Yeah, you remember him. Happy birthday to former Seattle Seahawks cornerback and also former San Francisco 49er cornerback, Richard Sherman, because he was born on this day back in 1989. One of the best to ever do it. Somebody signed this man. He still got some good years left. His Achilles ain't blowed up too bad. If he can't get it done at corner, just put him at safety. But the Stanford graduate is very smart. So football may not be his end game. It may be something for him to do because he loves it and to make the money, but he's a very smart man. So happy birthday to Richard Sherman, and give Sherm a job. And don't try him with no sorry receiver like Crabtree. Every time you do it, this is what you're going to get. LOB. Over to you, Scotty D.
He also had a run-in with that windbag Skip Bayless years ago when he was still at the Four Letter Network. They didn't like each other very much. Anyway, on Saturday, the 5 main fights that were on the UFC pay-per-view card, 4 of them ended with a knockout. It was a really good card. The Sugar Show returned with a knockout. Sean O'Malley, who last year hurt his ankle. But other than the main event, the biggest one of the night was Tyron Woodley, the former welterweight champion, who lost his 4th consecutive fight. This one was a nasty KO to Vicente Luque in the first round. Woodley has looked terrible for 4 straight fights. He hasn't won a round in any of those fights. He's 38 years old. Retire, please. I don't like watching these fighters get to that certain age and all of a sudden they can't win anymore and they don't even seem competitive anymore. And Woodley has gotten to that point. In November of 2013, he KO'd Josh Koscheck and he looked like an unstoppable beast. And I loved it because I didn't like Koscheck. And then he won the title with a KO over Robbie Lawler in 2016. But it's time to hang it up. We saw this happen to Anderson Silva. We saw this happen to Junior Dos Santos. In boxing, we saw it happen to Roy Jones Jr., and it's not fun when you watch someone who seemingly is indestructible suddenly can't even win a round. Tyron Woodley, please don't fight anymore. John Jones, please fight Francis Ngannou. And Buffalo Sabres, you gave up another goal. It's 3-2. Please don't win this game. Come on, Flyers. NHL history. Sabres, 2 games away. Adam Morrison, quit crying. Over to you guys. Be live.
Adam Morrison, quit crying. He's still on that.
Wow. Well, Richard Sherman has been pursuing his ownership of the Glacier Boys in Fan Control Football League. So
we're still talking about the Glacier Boys. The Glacier Boys. Didn't the Glacier Boys have a hit song right after Backstreet Boys?
I have no idea. But what I do have an idea of is that Facebook, social media sites, or whatever, y'all gonna stop with the disrespect. Y'all gonna stop this because Everybody's talking about the Brooklyn Nets and all these all-stars. But the biggest thing that everybody's talking about is that all these players are coming together to beat a 36-year-old man in the likes of LeBron James. So what y'all not going to do, y'all not going to disrespect former all-star Marc Gasol. You're not going to disrespect former sixth man of the year, Montrezl Harrell. What you're not going to do is disrespect former all-star Andre Drummond. Or did he? Was he? He didn't get voted all-star this year, did he?
No, not this year. No,
not this year. But yeah, what you're not going to do is disrespect Markieff Morris. What you're not going to do is disrespect Dennis Schroeder. But above all, you're not going to sit here and disrespect Anthony Davis. They're not building this team to beat LeBron. They're building this team to beat everybody on the Lakers. They're building this team to beat everybody on the 76ers. They're putting this team together to beat everybody on the Boston Celtics. They're putting this team together to beat everybody on the Clippers. Stop. Cut it out. LeBron this, LeBron that. Get off this man's nether region. I'm just gonna say it like that. Get off of it, because no, LeBron James is not the only player on the team. Stop it. Cut it out.
He's good though.
Yeah, he is.
He's good. But yeah. Everybody say, "Oh man, we're put this team together to beat LeBron James." No. They're putting this team together to beat LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Montrezl Harrell. Come on, man. I'm just Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Kuzma.
Did you know that Adam Morrison played for the Lakers at one point?
He did. Didn't he get a haircut?
Yeah, and it made him cry, so they had to cut
it. Oh man. But yeah, just cut it out. And you know what? I'm gonna say this. For one particular LeBron freaking lover staying out there, Tim Livingston, cut it all the way out. Oh. If you post one more thing on and I gotta look at it on my Facebook feed about you. Oh boy, I almost said some nasty things on our podcast. I do apologize, but yeah, cut it out. Stop it. For every LeBron fan out there, every Laker fan out there, all of y'all, cut it out. There is one true GOAT when it comes to basketball, and there's many GOATs from many different eras that did their thing, different eras, different balls. But there's one true GOAT, and it's Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Stop it. Cut it out. Do better. And I'm out.
I think Adam Morrison was the GOAT of crying players.
Scotty D, I'm going to take this somehow, somewhere, and get a title for the podcast. Crying Ghost. Oh, there it is. Crying Ghost. Yep, you got the title of the dog.
Adam Morrison was playing for the Lakers, and he still had one of those little mustaches that 8th graders grow. That like is all like soft and pencily.
Peach fuzz. It's called peach fuzz.
Peach fuzz. That's what it was. Yeah.
There we go. It is called peach fuzz. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for another round of pepper, and that's it for another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. Thank you for listening and thank you for watching. So we're about to get up out of here, watch a little bit of wrestling, watch a little bit of basketball, and watch sports, and more sports. With that being said, Scotty D, where can the people find you?
I'm tweeting, baby. I'm tweeting. UFC night. I tweet. You can find me on Twitter and on Facebook. Yeah, no good on the Twitter.
Yeah, we they can find you on Twitter, Scott. They can do
on Twitter.
On Twitter, boy, I tell you what.
Hey, sign that on there. One of them got Twitter's accounts out.
Scotty D, you're definitely showing your age.
I'm tweeting, baby. I'm tweeting like all the kids.
Let me get one of them Twitchstagram accounts. Oh, what? Be live. Go ahead, be live.
Once again, just to help the money man Scotty D out, because he says he tweets, but he doesn't give anybody what his handle is. Money Donnelly.
Yes.
Money Donnelly. You can find him there. And I actually follow Money Donnelly.
Me too.
On the Twitter machine. And I do like his UFC highlights. I wasn't able to watch it, but I was definitely following him on Twitter. Now, if we can get him on our official Sports Bros podcast Twitter, I mean, that would be also interesting, but that might be too technologically advanced for him. So we're just going to let him run with Money Donnelly, and we'll retweet. We're going to
retweet what he says.
Retweet on the Sports Bros podcast. And Twitter is Sports Bros Podcast, or is it Sports Bros PCast? Which one?
Sports Bros PCast. That's it.
Sports Bros PCast on Twitter. Sports Bros Podcast on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. This be your boy B Live. No I at the end. So THSBEYABOYBLIV to the E. The reason why I had to take the I out because it was too long, but yay, that's what it is. And those other social media things, check out our YouTube channel, Sports Bros Podcast. We are official. You can Google us. Hey, just look us up. You can find where we at. Yes, sir.
Yep, the Sports Bros Podcast. And that leaves me, Eddie Cool, the HOC up in this thing. And you can check me at all the aforementioned Sports Bros Podcast social media platforms. You can also check me out on Instagram, which is Cool Season, all one word. And if you're still in the Snapchat game, you can catch me out there at SuperCool5000. What else? Oh, I'm on Twitter as well, too, at The Real Eddie Cool. And I'll be making my Sports Me app return pretty soon this week as well, too. You can check me out on there also as well, too, at SportBro19. All right, fellas, we got any final words before we get the hell up out of here and watch wrestling, eat chicken, and talk a little bit of smack?
That's all I got. I've given you all I have for the week.
Stop crying.
Stop crying. Hopefully Gonzaga wins, because then I can win and Adam Morrison won't cry.
No, he gonna cry. He gonna cry. Guarantee he.
Tears of joy.
Yeah, tears of joy.
Right. Oh, I hope he doesn't listen to this show. It was so long ago. I'm still killing him for it. All these years later.
Hey, look, as long as there's pictures floating around with him crying, it's gonna happen. Look at the Jordan crying meme. Think about it. There's a whole generation of kids. They won't know Michael Jordan basketball player. No. They'll know Michael Jordan as the crying meme. Ain't that something?
Yeah.
All right. We get up out of here, fellas. And with that being said, and in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it now more than ever. Continue to wear a mask, stay safe, and just be nice to each other. It's not that hard to do. Open up a door for an old lady. Just do some nice stuff. And if they don't tell you thank them, just tell them you're welcome. And with that being said, it's been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. Ain't this where we start doing this whole leaving thing and stuff like that?
Yes, sir.
And we're out.